best gig ever, an idea. My friend Mark Lee came up to me one night, and he came up to me and said, let's find a struggling rock band and give them the greatest gig of their life. And I found this band, Ghost of Pasha from Vermont.
Chris and I have known each other for like 15 years. Met in high school, marching band. I was in the color guard, and he played the saxophone.
How do you describe what you do?
It's like classic rock.
Classic
Sonic
rock.
Youth.
It's like noise rock, classic rock,
Yeah.
I guess.
Ghost of Pasha was a brand new band on their very first tour. Exactly what Charlie was looking for. They'd booked 2 gigs in New York, the second and third shows they'd ever played. There was a cheap one on Friday and a more expensive one late Sunday night.
So I know that even if they have a good number of friends in New York City, their friends will come see them on Friday night, and they're not coming back 2 nights later at 10 o'clock on a Sunday. So I figured it was perfect.
Charlie recruited 35 agents to act as hardcore Ghost of Pasha fans. They downloaded songs from the band's website, memorized the lyrics.
It was awesome. Let me see that bootleg T-shirt again, Shafiq.
Oh, yes. This is a little
Some
bit
agents
of,
made T-shirts and temporary tattoos using the Ghost of Pasha logo. They timed their arrival, getting to the club as the next to last band was getting off stage.
There were only 3 paying customers for Ghost of Pasha that night, so had we not done this prank, they would have played a show to 3 people.
We thought it was just going to be dead, and we were like, cool, it'll be dead. We could just go up there and play and just get at it.
Get it over with.
I made the phone call to one of my friends back at the meeting place, and I said, okay, send everybody over.
And, you know, just as we get on stage, it starts filtering in. And all of a sudden, the room's full, and they're screaming like it's a taping at MTV. It was really weird, because we knew this was our 3rd show. So we're up there like, what's going on?
We're dancing, and we know the lyrics, and we're singing along. And in between songs, we're shouting out requests.
The first song we noticed it was in New York, New York. It's one of our songs, and they came right in with it. Like, I think they came in with it on better timing than I did. They nailed it.
New York, New York.
Charlie wanted his fake audience to seem real, so he told them to act as if Ghost of Pasha was their favorite band. Some spazzed out, others were more introspective.
So this is Justin Lang right here. He's done a lot of my missions. He's great. Like, he's just singing along, knows every word, but he has his eyes closed, and it's just so personal, and I love it because it's, you know, it looks so real. My favorite song off of the 60th album is What About the Shut-Ins, and right from the first note, I know what it is, and I'm pumping my hands. Gave one of these.
Where's the difference in really, really being into a band and pretending to be really into a band?
There's not much difference for that night. You know, it was whatever. It was the same thing, basically.
At that point, I felt that everybody in the room was on the same page. Like, they were into what was going on because we were really into what was going on. You know, you could just feel the energy. It was rock star time. The exclamation point on the whole evening for me was when the guy jumped up on stage with no shirt at the end of the last song and, like, hugged me. He's all sweaty and clammy, and he just kept saying thank you in my ear. And I was just like, all right, thank you. You know what I mean?
Agent V.
Like, yeah, Agent V.
When the show ended, we left. Not in a group, but just kind of like one by one. But pretty quickly, we were out of there. So by the time, you know, they had put their, you know, guitars away, we were gone.
I literally like bent down to like pull my cords out of my distortion pedal, and I look up and they were already gone. Like they were already like by the door. I was like, what did I do? Did we do something weird?
Back in Vermont after the show, the band still had no explanation for what had happened.
We just like had nothing in our heads, so we just decided to fill it with, well, okay, we're really excited and we're in a really good mood, so this is great. You know, like, finally, 35 people from New York City randomly came to our show and knew our words and stuff, and that's a good feeling.
That good feeling? It lasted exactly 3 days, till someone sent them a link to Charlie's website, which described, in vivid detail, how the entire show had been a fake.
When I first heard that, I was like I was like steaming, like really, really angry. Really angry.
I don't know, I got really paranoid for the first like 3 or 4 days, like even at a restaurant, you know? Like the waitress was acting weird. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, what's her deal, you know?
The story spread across the internet. Hundreds of people hit their website just to make fun of them. Spin Magazine and Rolling Stone covered the gig, and Ghosts of Pasha became that one wacky story on talk radio.
What he didn't know at the time is that his band was playing an involuntary part in a stunt. A guerrilla theater group called Improv Everywhere had staged this whole thing.
This hit Chris Partika, the guitar player, hardest of all. He'd been made fun of so much as a kid that he'd never really gotten over it. Turns out, Charlie hadn't given him the best gig ever.
It's the worst thing I could possibly think of ever happening to me in my life, because I've been avoiding confrontation my whole life so I wouldn't get made fun of. And the moment I decide that I want to try and be real and do what I really want to do, all of a sudden it's reacted in the same way as it was when I was like in kindergarten. And it's just like, what is the difference? You know, I'm 30 years old now and I'm still getting made fun of by people.
I definitely have my firm stance on how I feel about the nature of this as a prank, and I definitely firmly believe that our intentions were good, and because our intentions were good, then this is a positive thing.
Is it cruel to give somebody the best day of their life just because they'll never have another day like that again? I don't think so. It's kind of like, you know, you have a wonderful dream and you wake up and yeah, it kind of sucks for a second, but you'll always have that moment.
That's Charlie's spin on the prank. And in the end, Ghosts of Pasha came up with their own. After mulling it over for a week or so, they wrote into Charlie's website with their own enthusiastic reports of the show. It was their ruse, and it worked. It got easier to book shows, an A&R guy gave them a call, and for Chris Partika, being forced to face the thing he feared his whole life turned out to be a gift after all.
At this point, I don't really feel like anything can hurt me, you know? Because I've dealt with what I've never thought that I could deal with before. It was like psychotherapy for my childhood, you know what I mean? Like, but presented for the whole world to see, you know what I mean? Like, everybody in the world, look at Chris, he's got a really bad problem with himself, and everyone was like, duh, look at him, duh, you know, like, and then what am I supposed to do with that but be like, hey, how you doing? I'm Chris, I play the guitar, and I like it.
3 months after the Improv Everywhere show, Ghosts of Pasha played the same club again. They had a little more experience, and the songs were definitely tighter, but the crowd was a bit more honest. And it gave the band a chance to answer this question. Given a choice between dreams and real life, which would you choose?
The first one. First one, I gotta be honest, you know, like, it was just really fun, you know, like, because they were just giving us love no matter what. And that's like being 6 years old and your parents are like, they just love you, and you drop something and they love you, and it's just like, we love you no matter what.